My name is Joanne LeGros Kelly.
My name is Colin Kelly.
I was diagnosed with osteoporosis about 12 years ago. Shortly after my diagnosis, my husband Colin was diagnosed as well.
I got into the sport of triathlon about 20 years ago. I had a running injury, went for a routine x-ray, and the technician said, "That looks a little light, I recommend that you get a bone density test done." And to my great surprise, came up with a diagnosis of osteoporosis.
So I'm Amber and I'm 35 years old. The type of osteoporosis I have is pregnancy related. I had suffered from severe spinal fractures 2 months after giving birth to my son.
I'm Jerry Corcoran. I'm 63 years old. I was diagnosed with osteoporosis when I was 55 years old.
I'm Juanita Gledhill. I'm 53 years old, and I was diagnosed with osteoporosis just after my 50th birthday.
I was surprised to get the diagnosis, even though I am a health professional and I considered myself a very healthy individual who eats well and is very active and exercises a lot.
I thought that my active lifestyle would insulate me from such things.
My doctor was proactive. He told me if there's a history of fracture in the family, my mother had osteoporosis. It's a good idea to go for a bone mineral density test.
I don't believe I had heard about osteoporosis when I was growing up.
Always thought that was a disease for older women.
There really wasn't any bone health that I was aware of. Younger, quite honestly, had more to do with my teeth than it did my actual bones.
There's a lot of awareness about other conditions, other diseases like heart attack, stroke, cancer, diabetes, but not about osteoporosis.
When Colin was diagnosed, of course I was concerned.
I think probably the most difficult part for my wife was being called to emergency when I would have these falls and breaks, and was not sure what kind of condition her husband was in.
I had significant pain in my back and I could hardly move. I was then in bed for 2 days. But it was really strange because there wasn't a specific incident. I didn't fall, I didn't lift something and suddenly, hear a crack or anything like that. It just sort of came on throughout the course of one afternoon.
When I got the call, I actually couldn't believe it. I was taken aback. I started to think, so what does this mean? And my first thoughts were, if I fall, I might break.
I really couldn't do anything for my son other than nurse him. So if someone placed him in my arms, I could nurse him. But beyond that, I wasn't able, to lift him or bathe him or really do any of those things that, a mom should be doing.
I don't think the public is all that aware about osteoporosis, especially men.
When I was growing up, there was no thought, no discussion of bone health. It simply wasn't on the horizon.
No one in my family had ever suffered, from the disease, so it really wasn't, well known to me, and certainly had no idea that it could affect younger people.
I certainly wished that I had the awareness of what it was so that I could be sure to count the calcium and even knowing that vitamin D had an important role in osteoporosis.
I think knowing about my mom's osteoporosis, I really believe that my osteoporosis would have been more advanced when I was first diagnosed if I hadn't been aware of osteoporosis before.
I decided I would like to do some volunteer work, so I thought that Osteoporosis Canada would be a good fit. As a 1-800 volunteer, I answer phone calls. I find that many of the callers want some information fast because they've been diagnosed with osteoporosis and they want to know where they go next. I explain my situation, my experiences, and that puts a lot of people at ease. They're pleased that I can speak to them on the same level as a patient.
I think osteoporosis is really misunderstood. There's lots of misconceptions. I think Osteoporosis Canada does a great job of getting information out about the disease and about how we can help prevent it and help live well with it.
So it ended up that I lost almost 3 inches of my height, all in my torso, because of all of these fractures. Really wasn't able to have, the year off that I had envisioned. And it took a really, really long time for me to recover from that and not be in, significant pain.
I don't let osteoporosis overshadow my life, but I let it inform my choices.
So for myself and my family, I think osteoporosis has changed our plans. I mean, we wanted to have a couple of children, and I don't think that will be in the cards for us anymore. It's your bones, it's your skeleton, it's your structure. So really it is everything.
I'm thankful that I learned about osteoporosis. I learned that I had it, and that I learned that I could deal with it. I could live with it.
Canadians need to know that osteoporosis can happen to anyone. Once you've been diagnosed, you're living with it. Bones need care. And there's a disease that can actually compromise your bones, because I don't think people understand that.
That's all my son has ever known. I feel like he hasn't really been affected by my condition or by my inability to lift him up. The other day, he didn't want to do something, so he said, "Oh, I can't, my back hurts." And I thought, oh my gosh, does he hear me saying that?
I'm grateful that I know that I have the disease, because now I can actually do something about it. And I can impact how much it impacts my life.
I am the face of osteoporosis.
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 I am the face of osteoporosis.